Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends on what or where you are, actually. My name is Alberto Orjuela, actually. I was born in Colombia and grew up in the States. But I want to tell you my story, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you pick up some ideas or some thoughts that may help you along. Way back when I was like 11 years old, I lost my virginity. Also, I thought it was a mental thing. I had a girlfriend, a steady girlfriend. Her name was Dorothy, actually, Jewish girl. I never knew what Jewish was, but still, Dot. And we were in love. I mean, we were going steady. And we would sneak up to her room and we would like hide under her bed and make out. Or make out, quote unquote, because it was like, till my friends told me, what the fuck? That's not making out. To make out, you gotta put your tongue in her mouth, man. You gotta do French kissing. And I said, what? That's disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You gotta put your tongue in her mouth. I said, no, but then her saliva is spit and. Ah, what the fuck? Let's try it out. So I would go back and tell Dot, hey, Dot, we're making out wrong. What we gotta do is we gotta make out by me putting my tongue in your mouth and you putting your tongue in my mouth. That's the way it's supposed to be done. And she would say, okay, let's do it. So we would try it and then we'd slobber, saliva dripping down everywhere. But it wasn't that bad. Come to think of it, I didn't really think it was disgusting. I thought it was pretty cool. So we kept on making out like that. And actually we would like do all kinds of other things. We would be doing all kinds of petting and touching here and there and everywhere. Under the bed, of course, under the bed. And later on, of course, my older friends told me that, no, Al, you gotta fuck her. Holy shit, how do you do that? And then we would, obviously, all the instructions and everything. And then I would try to follow the instructions and then go back to Dot, and Dot would be more than willing to go through it. But of course, remember, we were under the bed, not on top of the bed. So it was very hard or impossible. How do you get any penetration like that? So, of course, it was mostly stimulation, fingering, and the whole bit. But so I thought I had lost my virginity. And then after that, of course, I grew a little older and started going into finer things, like hanging out. Hanging out with the crowd, with the group. Doing what? Doing nothing. Just talking shit and drinking beer. In other words, getting up an ante or a collection to buy Colt 45. We would get an older fella who walked by and would say, hey, Mike, do us a favor. Could you buy us a bottle of Colt 45? A bottle was a big-ass bottle, a quart size. Colt 45. And with that, we would get high. And, of course, somebody would somehow come up with the idea of smoking pot. And we would say, wow, now that's cool. That's really cool. And it was actually cheaper than drinking alcohol. And the high was even better. So we got into smoking pot and then into all kinds of other drugs. And then I grew a little older, and then I was like 15, 16 years old, and I was a fucking mess. In other words, I was despicable. If I met myself right now as I was when I was 15 or 16, I would probably punch myself in the mouth. Poof. Motherfucker, what's wrong with you? Grow up, stupid. What the hell's wrong with you? You're smart. What are you doing with all these fucking bums? Fucking imbeciles, man. I'm talking about some huge guys like, yo, Al, let's kick some ass, Al. I mean, what the fuck? But I was no better. I was an asshole, complete asshole at that time. I would do all kinds of drugs, whatever the fuck. Basically, just stick my hand out and say, what are you giving me? Give me. What was that? That's a downer. I go, a downer. Sounds cool. And what's that? An upper. An upper. What the fuck is an upper? Oh, it sounds good. And then we would do speed and then all kinds of other shit. And it went on and on and on and on like that. And then obviously we tried some other heavier shit like angel dust. Made the whole room spin around. And then I worked at a drugstore once. That was the coolest. Imagine working at a drugstore. You could get all the prescription drugs you wanted for free. But I found a fucking jackpot. In the basement, they had this old bottle of tincture of opium. And I just had the brightest idea that if I stole that bottle of tincture of opium, we could sell it. And how could we sell it? In little vials, maybe, or in syringes. But then since I stole the syringes too, I figured, what if I shoot this stuff? Let's try it. So then we tried shooting fucking outrageous, but opium, remember. So then we're talking heavy stuff. Opium addiction. Actually, addictions never really hit me hard. I mean, I used to smoke cigarettes and then quit. And drink beer, drink everything, and just quit. So opium, we did opium. And then it ran out, sold it all, and then quit. And so on and so on. I would just fucking carry on like this, live in shithole apartments. I mean, I don't know why. I could live in much better places, but then I figured, what the fuck? Why spend so much money on rent? You could live, I mean, money was for drugs and for girls, not for paying rent. And of course, I had some really cool ass chicks. For example, there's one thin girl, Laura, who I met at a concert. We actually had sex right there. It was an outdoor concert. Well, but still, there was quite a few people around, but we put a blanket over ourselves and then bang it. Actually, it wasn't a blanket. It was my jacket. Well, still, big enough, cover enough. And I thought she was really cool because she was like hip. She'd like to do whatever the fuck I like to do. And every time she hopped into the car, she'd say, "Hey, Al, so what you got?" She would put out her hand and say, "I got some phenobarbital." "Ah, that sounds cool." "I got some Seconal." "Oh, even better." What the fuck? Each time it even get better. And then we go over to the house, go down the basement, and then we'd fuck all afternoon, all night, or whatever. Cool. And you're probably wondering, what the fuck does this guy eat? Or when does he eat? Well, basically, I grew up on a combination between Colombian food and junk food. Colombian food is reasonably healthy. I mean, the only problem is it's got quite a bit of starches and flour and all that. And, of course, some oils, palm oil and whatever, and other types of things, but generally healthy, yeah. And junk food. Since we were hanging out, what do you do? What do you eat at a hangout? Well, junk food. I'm talking about, I don't know, not even potato chips, but all these other junk food things that we would eat. And then, of course, the sweet stuff for breakfast. I imagine it wasn't even my fault. It's just that my parents, everyone's parents, give them a breakfast full of sugar. I mean, it was just like Captain Crunch, for example. How much sugar is in Captain Crunch? It's just pure sugar, and then you throw milk on top of it. Nowadays, people be scandalized. Sugar and lactose? Holy fuck, you're gonna die. But no, here I am. Survived. Survived opium. Survived sugar. Survived that lifestyle. Very little sleep. Practically no exercise. The only exercise was to lift up a joint and to go. Right? And then, of course, we did get some exercise once in a while, running from the cops and stuff. I mean, when the cops used to roll up on us, and hey, kids, stop right there, hold it right there, and haul ass. And everybody be throwing the junk all over the place, getting rid of the stuff that we were carrying. It was called carrying. So we would throw all the junk out wherever. But that was basically the exercise that we would get once in a blue moon, once a week, once every 2 weeks or so. Other than that, nothing. Walk to the store, walk to the liquor store. That was the biggest exercise. Oh, sex. I forgot about that. Yeah, we would get some exercise. Yeah. Not much, but some. Some. It counts. Anyway, that's what I grew up on. Imagine that. White Castle hamburgers, McDonald's, all kinds of junk food, and beer, and some other, what the fuck, I can't even remember. Colt 45, which wasn't actually beer, it was like malt liquor and that type of stuff. Unbelievable. I don't know how we made it through, but here I am. And that's the point, that the body is so resilient that you're able to go through all of this and all of a sudden recuperate, regenerate. I'm 70 years old now. And I don't know, you judge for yourself. Probably say I'm 55 or so, but that's because 12 years ago, or even a little further back, I started on a renumeration kick, setting back the clock. Started with resveratrol. I remember Amparito Amparo Grisales, beautiful model and Colombian actress, was doing resveratrol, a resveratrol treatment. She was even advertising it. So I figured if she's looking that good, it can't be all that bad. So I started on that, and then I went on to doing more research into different compounds and different treatments. But that's a completely other podcast that I'm sure you'll be interested to watch. Right? So I'll see you in a bit. I hope you had, I hope you enjoyed my talk, and I hope you learned a few lessons. Don't fuck up like that. No need. Go right into the next step, which is what I'm going to tell you about. All right? Be good.